I am going to try, anyway, to, well, basically just spin up these gears. That's what we're doing is we're spinning up these gears. We are, I have extra sun gears right here. I have a TPU outer gear, or a ring gear, and some TPU planetaries. So what we're going to do is, these aren't TPU because I was on Discord last night and I burned up the TPU one just for fun. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble this system, and then, then I'm going to run it. So, and I figured I would do it live just to have some fun. I'll probably wait for a couple people to show up if people do. I think there are, oh, there's a couple people. Nice. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. So, basically, we're taking this big motor, we're coupling it to this with the planetary gears, and then we're putting it on there. I'm going to run a couple of these screws through to make sure everything's seated perfectly, and then we're going to hook everything up. Hopefully be able to see the amp meter. And realistically, the idea is what we're going to do is we're just going to have some fun with it. It kind of gives me practice on how I'm loading, unloading gears. Once the planetaries get here that I ordered, they are on a plane. That's what I know. So they're headed this way. But I went ahead and I did these TPU rubber ones, and they actually work pretty decent, to be honest with you. I was surprised. So we take two and we kind of drop them on the bearings, and that's hopefully the metal ones are a little bit more snug. I'm sure they will be. Planetary goes the other direction, and then I gotta squeeze this one in. This will be fun. I've done this before. Oh, that's right. I gotta tap this one out. Hold on. I gotta tap this one out. Can I tap this one out? No, it goes this way. Give me a second. Should be able to get it. There we go. Okay, so now I can put that one on the planetary. And then I can put the sun gear in. I hope everyone can see this. It's hard for me to see what's going on. And then tap everything into place. Rotate it until the gears seat like they're supposed to. Give it a few good taps. See if she rotates. It's interesting because the TPU looks like it actually is, it doesn't like the PLA sun gear in the center, so but it is flexible, which gives me the ability to kind of adjust things so that everything spins kind of freely. The metal gears won't be this way. It'll be much easier just to put everything together and then just plop the gears or the bearing assemblies down onto the sun gear. There is some deflection in this one, and it's just because it's TPU against a different material. But what we're going to do is we're going to do our best here. I'm going to make sure that it's at least somewhat entertaining. So let's do that. Let's be somewhat entertaining, shall we? Okay, that's a little bit better. I think some of the teeth were already gone on these TPUs, but if that fails, then I've got PETG ones that still have teeth on them. So let's run them all. So TPU outer ring, as you can see. And TPU planetaries and a PLA sun gear. So we're going to go ahead and let me rotate that some more here. Let me do something. Interflon. Hold on, I spray this off the table a little bit. Just a little bit. Get her moving a little bit better. Oh, that's better. So yeah, the TPU against PLA is actually, I feel like it's fighting it. It's so weird. But everything is the way it should be. Oh well. I guess that's the whole reason behind this, right? I'm not fixing anything. I'm just kidding. How you doing? Welcome. Multi-gamer. I'm actually not fixing anything. I'm putting together a planetary gear system so I can run that turbine on this 190 kilovolt high torque motor. So it's kind of a Jimmy rig design, but things will work better once the planetary gears get here that are printed in aluminum. And I feel like, okay, it's not about confidence, it's about send it. Okay, it's gonna roll, so I'm not really worried about that. Now, the fun part is just getting it into the housing. At that one gear, I don't know what's up with that. It is on the right track. That's okay. I just wanted you guys to have some fun with me, because otherwise I would have just came in here and did it all by myself. Okay, and this one's sticking up slightly, so what we need to do is dad. There we go, that's better. Well, it's getting better. It doesn't like me. And the outer ring gear will push it together. And all else fails, just lube it up and slam it in there. Giggity. I'll check chat in just a second. I can't see it all. Good evening, Buck. Rosales, welcome. Zach, welcome. PXD squared. You are the man. You're the guy that keeps coming back for more, no matter what I do to this engine. So hopefully everyone can hear everything okay, as you witness my frustration at putting this gear back together. This is still TPU, like I said, with one PLA sun gear. Because what I wanted to do was cause myself as much anguish as possible until the other ones get here. Oh, this one's kind of chewed. That's probably one of the main issues. Yeah, that one's kind of... All right, hold on. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop this one off because this one did suffer some damage. Okay, the other ones seem to be okay, except for some slight alignment issues. Let's go ahead and pop a PETG. Let's mix it all up, right? Okay, so the way I want to do this to make it easier on myself, planetary goes down. I'm hoping you can all see this. I'm going to pull off these TPU ones and place it around evenly. That'll help me get these back on here. It should anyway. Totally done professionally, right? Oh, yeah. All right, let's try it one more time. These went on. All right. This is what happens when my children take my computer to play Phasmophobia. Now I'm out here experimenting. But I decided to do it live because the last time I experimented, there was a massive explosion of the first turbine. And no one got to see it because I wasn't recording. Oh, that's much better. Spinning smoothly. All right, and it has some of the interflon on there. I'm not using the paste this time because the gears aren't going to last long enough where the paste is going to give a damn one way or the other. So why waste it? I'll just use the spray. So the first thing I want to do is drive myself completely insane trying to put this in here. Because it is TPU and it is slightly flexible. It's AMS TPU. I should point that out. This is the TPU for the AMS, for the bamboo lag. Excellent carbon. If it keeps doing this to me, I'm switching to a standard ring gear. Get in there. Hold on. Yeah, it's meshing like it's supposed to. It's just flexing, so when I try to push it in there, it wants to give me trouble. Yes, these are all things she said. Okay. Damn, she's doing me dirty today. I even used lube. Alright. Just hold on one second. PXD, you watched me do this last night, so this was hold on, I'm trying to see the chat. Okay, so yeah. I'm trying to read the chat. Just give me 1 second. Hey, NC Matt, what's going on? Welcome. I'm here to drive myself insane. Okay, so hopefully the TPU likes to grab the walls of the PETG, kind of like using a squeegee on glass. So it's like, yeah, I'll work under the right circumstances. But no, it's going to give me a pain. I'll get it because I got it last night. Just got to get it to cooperate. I promise you it's all worth it eventually. Wow. TPU. You're a dick. Alright, it's just this stupid ring gear. It's like you've got to get it. It's like so finicky. It's like, you ever try to figure out where your woman wants to eat? Same thing. No offense to any ladies that might be watching. But yeah, see, if I take this out, you'll see that now, watch, it'll be like, oh, that's easy. But it's just a little bit of play. But see, this is normally something I would have done just off camera by myself for the heck of it. And I figured, why not share the frustration with all of you? It actually isn't that hard to put together. It's because it's the TPU that I'm using. I just got to get it seated. And I have to gently get the thing in there because if I grab the top of the ring gear, what's it? See? Watch. No, there we go. Look at that. Like butter. Or margarine, maybe? Oh, I've got to rotate the fan to index it. There we go. I knew that. Let's put the keeper in there. So, you've just witnessed all of that frustration for probably what's going to be about 5 seconds of actual turbine spinning. Ow, my knee's going out. That's always nice. So, first we want to do, make sure everything is, yeah. Oh man, that thing's tight. With the TPU gear, it's like, It's like literally flexing in one direction. That is so weird. This is gonna wobble like a son of a. Anyway, we're gonna do it. It won't hurt the fan any, I don't think. Famous last words. Oh look, skeeters. Let's see if they get sucked in there while I'm doing this. No animals were harmed unintentionally while making this video. All right. Let's get you lined up. Yeah, it is kind of leaning a little bit. This will straighten it up. Okay. And I will run a few screws in there to make sure everything is seated like it's supposed to. I just have to switch these bits out so I can tighten up that shaft. Go ahead and say it. Say giggity. Save me the trouble. Alright. That's okay. I need that one out. Now, possible outcomes. An explosion of the PETG blade. An explosion of my temper. Or, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have a bad temper. I just wish I had a freaking electric hand driver. You know what I mean? Then they're like, oh, you got a drill. Yeah, try fit the drill in here. Go right in. Be my guest. These screws are just to make sure that the engine mount doesn't come out. The most logical explanation, right? And I'll get to the chat in a second. I know everyone's probably asking questions or like really confused right now about what I'm doing. Those who are here new, this is just a test. Something to get rid of the old, you know, the old planetaries that are laying around. I don't want to just throw them away, you know. I might as well burn them up because it doesn't do any real damage to the outer casing, which, by the way, is brand new, and the motor mount, which is brand new. Different from the last design in the sense that I've got a little bit more rigid. Now I'm not going to run all these set screws in. Famous last words. All right. Okay, I'm going to catch up on chat. Can we talk about RC instead of... Oh, what's wrong with Jesus, man? Ain't nothing wrong with Jesus. So hold on. I'm catching up on chat, guys. So if I'm silent, I apologize. Oh, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. That's kind of a lifetime commitment. Actually, it's an eternal commitment, considering time is just a measured portion of eternity. Bet everybody never thought of it that way. I think Marcel Proust said it best, but I can't remember because I listen to books when I go to sleep. All right, everyone. So this is what we're going to do. Hopefully, I got this wired up to the right direction here. I think it was blue. We'll find out, I guess. That's the last thing you want to hear from somebody wiring up a 48-volt motor, right? I guess we'll find out. All right, so let's get the RX plugged in. Sorry, yeah, RX plugged in. There is no BEC on that ESC. Because there's no BEC, I had to get an external BEC because on the ESC it's 5S to 12S, but it's 48 volts. And for some reason they couldn't put a BEC in there. Not sure why. You would think if you made one with 48 volts, you'd go, you know, we could put a BEC in there. But no, let's just have him buy another one. And power it with another battery. That makes sense. All right. Alrighty. Okay, let's plug up the ESC. Fingers crossed I've got everything okay here. Okay. Please be going in the right direction. And it's not. Okay, hold on one second. I have to like label these wires because I keep mixing them up. Okay. One more time. I doubt you can read the amp meter, but it's 49 volts right now. And we will a little bit of braking here. Let's see what happens. Do a little interflon. A little dusting. A little light dusting. All right, now what's going to happen now when I spin this up is I'm going to get close to half RPMs if I'm lucky. And it's going to strip these out. But these planetary gears I've been waiting for a very long time, not the ones that are in here, the ones that are on the plane and on their way to me because they're aluminum. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to burn up the rest of these planetaries I've got laying around. And then when the metal ones get here, that's going to be the live that you're going to want to really pay attention to because you're going to see some interesting stuff. Let me try and zoom in here a little bit for you. All right. Okay, I'm going to step back a little bit because when Stubby 1 blew up, I was holding it. So... there he goes. That's that TPU for it. Let's throw some of these PETG ones in there and see what happens. I mean, we know it's gonna fail, but at least it's gonna last longer. Do I have a sun gear? Do I have another sun gear? I've got one. I think I've got one sun gear. Where to put it? All right, there's another planetary. Oh, it's got some teeth in it. Like from, oh, here's another sun gear. No, wait, that's not a sun gear. That's a planetary. Okay, I know you all saw me do it. Is this it? Is this the one? Okay. No, I had another one, I think. All right, well, I'm gonna brush this out. Just to make sure, because it's got teeth from another gear in it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's just the interflon. Nope, those are teeth. Hold on. Bear with me, everyone. I don't have any background music for you. You know, copyrights and all. We got ourselves a debate going on in the chat. Come on now. Everybody get... Where is everybody? 34? Come on, man. I come into the garage. I put my pants on for you guys. I mean, let's go. Let's get this done. Let's actually... Let's do something here. Oh, you guys are all just like 34 people showed up. That's all right. No problem. I'm only putting everything... I literally got dressed for this. I'm just kidding. I didn't get dressed for anything. You can't see it. I don't have any pants on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I do. Everyone's like leaving now. They're like, he has no pants. So let's see the damage on the sun gear. Or actually, I'm curious because of how much of a pain in the ass that was. How much of the actual planetary got destroyed, or if it was the sun gear. Because one of them failed. And now you know why I ordered metal gears. Literally on the 1st of this month. So, and they're just now on the plane, and I still have to wait 7 to 12 days. You know? I need a local CNC or a local 3D printer for metal. Because I don't know of anybody locally on the West Coast. I'm sure there's a whole bunch, but a lot of them don't want to take on little projects like this. Or I just need 3 gears, or I need a high pass blade. Because I had actually taken the entire blade itself, because this is the one that's going to be driven from the rear. Giggity. And I actually hubbed it so I could take out the blades, so we could CNC each individual blade, and then CNC the hub. And then once everything slides together, then the rear drive shaft that goes on the back holds everything in. So I did all this design, and they can't even read the freaking IGS file over there at PCBWay. They're saying, your geometry is this, that, or the other. I'm like, look, I'm trying to give you the curves on the file, but you're not, your machine is just, I don't know what's going on. Like, they can 3D print it, but they can't CNC it. That makes no sense, right? Or does it? Got any machinists in the chat? Oh, 1.1 meter P51. I love the P51. I can't fly the small ones, though. Everybody here who has seen me do that already is aware of that. It's the big, beautiful lawn dart. But it is quite interesting to see me fly that thing. Because you think I go into it with the best intentions, and then I just completely just nosedive. All right. Let's see what other ring gears we got. Just because I don't want to... You can see the teeth from the other gear in there. Hold on. Let me clean that out so I can get the old teeth out and the new teeth in. Because this one's done out of PLA, so it'll be a little bit more rigid than the TPU. I don't expect it to fail at the same RPM. I should get a little bit higher. Speaking of higher... Since I'm in California, I might step away for a moment over to my other table where I have my crucial ingredients for doing things like this. You might know what they are, because it might be legal in your state. Okay. Oh, sorry, I don't know. If you didn't know what that was, I'm trying to... Mother always said to brush your teeth. All right. Getting the PETG out. I understand if you're bored. I do. Let's talk about stuff. I'll try and check the chat. And hopefully everyone's getting along. So is my audio like okay? Come on, PXD. How's the audio? We good? Shut up, radio. You'll be ready when I'm ready. I can't believe how warm it got here where I'm at now. Like half the country is like frozen. And here it's 70 degrees. Of course, I'm in the Central Valley, California. So I got to wake up to an earthquake last night. That was fun. We like earthquakes around here. Usually it's just boring weather. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so I have a sun gear. I've got 3 planetaries. They look like they will mesh well together. Yeah, okay. So we may get a little bit longer run time out of this deal. All right, did I take those 3 out? I did, okay. Oh, I need to loosen the set screws. First I gotta change the bits. This is why I need a hand driver for this kind of thing. Receiver is still on, but I did unplug the ESC. Don't worry. And everyone's like, we don't care. We're here for something going wrong. We want to see an explosion or major injury. I keep telling myself, you know, that's what people watch. You know, that's what they want to see. They either want to see the fan do something really cool or explode. I've got more views on some of my videos where my engines explode than successes. It's weird. Or just testing, you know, doing testing like we're doing now. The TPU is finicky. Sometimes I don't like. I had this problem last night trying to get this thing out of here because of the TPU. Yeah, that's the TPU for sure. You can see where the. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's sitting right here. Oh, that's the sun gear. And the other planetary is right here. So we did eat up the sun gear. And the TPU survives. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, to be on the safe side, we're going to go ahead and see, that one looks good. So we'll pull that one out. I'll see if there's any that have any problems that might give me issues. And then we'll do it with PETG. Maybe this one. We'll pull this one. All right. Stop it, radio. And we do have, yeah, we have this sun gear. So this is the one we're gonna see what it does. There's so much torque. Where's the camera? There it is. There's so much torque on that sun gear that it just chews it up. And that was the PLA gear up against TPU. Now, granted, it's TPU for the AMS, which makes it a little bit more rigid. But still, the PLA gear failing before a TPU gear, that's almost unheard of, right? Good science, though. Good science. Everything is data. Failures, successes, it's all data. And I need that data. All right, I do need to pull that gear off completely, though, before I do this. So that I can, because these are interlocking, let me speak English. These are interlocking helical gears. So you kind of want them to be already interlocked before you put everything together. Because otherwise it's really hard to get them together because of the design on it. That one in there. All right. Persuasion time. Oh, get in there. Get in there and take it. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that one will go in, but I need a different one. Hold on. Let's go back to the one. Yeah, sorry, my bad. All right. And we'll turn this one. I apologize if you can't see what I'm doing. But right now we're just kind of lining stuff up so that I can get it into the carrier. And there you go. So it is pretty quick to switch out gears. You want to make sure they're seated. Because if they're seated properly and you've got like freedom of movement on there, you're golden. This is the TPU one, so we're going to pull that out and we're going to set that aside over here. Okay, and now we're going to put everything together as soon as I verify these teeth are clear. It looks like we're doing all right. I think a lot of this is just some of that paste that's dried up. The HT 1200 from Interflon. Pretty good stuff. Good for high heat, but considering what I'm doing isn't generating too much heat. I mean, it is generating heat, but it's not generating enough heat to where it's going to affect it, like build it up like in a metal gear assembly. Sorry if I keep getting off frame. Okay. Now, this one's not TPU. Should be a little bit easier to install. I don't see any. Yeah, make sure everything's out of there. Okay, rotate the fan till we're down. There you go. So you can kind of see this is also really a good demonstration of about how modular the system is. So you could run some gears, something could happen and they could get, you know, chewed up, or if you need to just do maintenance, so overall maintenance on the system, it makes it easy to get to. So that looks a little bit better. We might have some good results with that one. Okay. All right. There we go. Let's run that down. You can hear my kids there freaking out over phasmophobia. At least they're having a good time with my very expensive computer. All right. Okay, so that being said, let's get this thing locked back down. We'll power back up. Any questions so far? I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but you guys are flying. You guys are seriously flying. They mentioned when I went live this time, it's like, you could do it with a friend. I should do it with a friend next time so they can keep everyone entertained while I'm doing this. All right. Now again, this is PETG and one PLA. sun gear. The sun gear is going to take the brunt of the damage. It's going to fail. There's no TPU in this mix. So I'm expecting quarter to half throttle before failure. I have never got this thing above half throttle without stripping out the gears. And that's just because of the heat and the speed and the torque that the sun gear has to undergo. Because you're talking about you're talking about 0.665 cubic feet per second going through there. There's a lot of resistance with 22 blades to put on a tiny little sun gear. So, I'm going to be a little bit safer here. Try to ramp it up a little bit slower. But at this stage, I think it's heat that's doing it. And then, of course, the heat builds up once you get to a certain RPM, then the sheer torque just tears the sun gear apart. And this, okay. That's not going anywhere. It actually feels a lot better than the other one. Let's drench it again. Give it its best chance. All right. Okay. Make sure nothing gets pulled into the fan. Okay. All right. Let it run for a second. Kind of seat itself up. And no braking so that I don't end up chewing up teeth. All right. Let's do this again, but let's do it. Does anybody have any questions about what's going on here, what I built this engine for? I'm pushing. Okay, first off, let me explain what's going on here. This is a 170 millimeter 22 blade high pass fan. Like its predecessor, this one, which had an unfortunate accident, this one was pushing a secondary rear low pressure turbine and an aperture for experimental purposes. Obviously, the idea was put an afterburner on it, so on and so forth. This, I'm pushing a lower kV motor on because I had an 800 kV on that one, which ran fine, and then a 650 kV because the 800 was getting hot. So, just throw it to full power. I think it would blow up if I did that. It definitely stripped the gears pretty quick. So we're going to go up as fast as I can, but realistically, this one is not a direct drive. Obviously, it's a 4-to-1 step up. If I put another stack of gears on there, you're looking at 16-to-1. But right now, with the max RPMs on this motor, we should push 35,000 RPM, 32 to 35,000 RPMs, which is about 55 pounds of thrust if you calculate the airflow, mass airflow. That being said, I am going to smoke a little tobacco, and then we'll run this thing up. I will be flying these, yes. What's going to end up happening is now the ductwork that's on this fan is just for the purpose of testing its thrust at this stage. The actual fan housing is literally just this part here, or this part here. This is literally the fan casing right here. And then you have an outer fan casing here that bolts up to this, and the fan and bearing goes in here. So, I hope you guys can see that, or my big head was in the way. So, basically, there is a Lego master with your name that built a type. Oh, you're okay. You're talking to somebody else. I'm like, huh? These aren't Legos. Okay. All right. Who's ready? Because we'll end the chat after, or not end it, but we'll talk a little bit after this. And then, about what this is for, and then we'll call it a night. But I really wanted to spin this up. So here we go. Prepare to be disappointed. I'm kidding. It should be fun. When Metal Gears get here, though, I can do full throttle, and that's scary, because that's a PETG fan, which has been the strongest one so far. And this is another. Oh, this is PETG too. Cool. There's the other Sun Gear. We might be able to get another shot at this. But the last one that exploded, it didn't really hurt that much. But I did catch blades to the chest and stuff. But this casing is really what saved me. So, but it was on the other fan. So here we go. Let's do this. Hold on. What are you asking? Am I flying? This is actually, I should probably explain this. This is a modular system you can put into either an aircraft that you design around it. You lose this ductwork, and then you're using your intakes on your...
I wasn't finished.
My phone is trying to charge. It didn't like the fact that I unplugged it. It told me it wasn't finished. So you could put two of these in a really big plane. You could put one in a Harrier. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted with it. And it wouldn't have this ductwork. It's actually smaller than that. The version 5 of this entire system, so it's placed up here for testing, but it's actually, I've already designed it to where it sits behind the fan. So the entire CG of the system is kind of balanced. And this is going to be for a drone as well. This is going to be for a heavy lift drone. So, we're looking at a projected thrust of 55 pounds, so 220 pounds on the drone. If you take 30, 40 off, let's say conservatively you've got 180 pounds of payload. So, hello, Stacy. Are you ready for the final spin up? All right. So here we go. I'm going to be so much trouble for calling her by her first name. All right. Here we go. Without further ado, let's burn some more gears. She was getting it too. She was getting it. Now, this has always been the problem with these gears. I tried nylon 6. I tried everything. And it still wouldn't hold up to the torque. So that's why I printed them, or had them printed in metal. Because it's going to get up and go. I mean, I have this thing chained down because I already know how much power it's got. So there is that. All right. So let me kind of show you what's up here. So this entire system will be in here and driven from the rear. I'm going to... Still wants to spin it, see? Even though the teeth are gone, it still wants to spin it. It's just under any kind of torque, it just fails. And once I get to close to half RPM or half throttle, then it fails. So one of the main ideas is aluminum on the planetary. So it's just the Sun gear. So those 4 gears you saw are the ones that I'm doing in aluminum, plus the ring gear that I installed in here is all aluminum. And my fingers are crossed that everything's going to fit perfectly on that one, because that one won't fail. At least if it does strip out the sun gear with the aluminum, then I'm going to have to go move everything to tool steel. And that's going to take another 6.5 months to get here. But it's the only reason why it took long is because apparently, and I was told this by PCBWay, I had ordered during Spring Festival, and while I didn't see how that was my problem, you know, I like the way they work. We'll see how good the quality is on gears that small, because you're looking at fairly small teeth. So it's either gonna work like it's supposed. It's either gonna print them really well, better than the FDM, or it's gonna be coarse. I'm gonna have to run it through a couple of phases where I run it, clean it out, run it, clean it out, and then make sure that there's no galling on any of the gears. Yes, there is a Discord. The metal gears will be here. Right now it says they're shipped by PX4 from China. So it says 7 to 12 days. It's been in transit for 3 days. Hopefully it's sooner than later. And then we'll have those gears. I'll get them in there. And then we're going to get this thing another live. I'll put up a short that I'm going to do another live. And then that way you guys can kind of set it. Or I'll actually schedule the live and then do it that way, so you guys can be notified. Just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you click the bell so that you're notified when I am going to go live with the metal gears, because this thing's going to scream. With the nylon 6 gears, I got past what I got past just now, and it started to scream. It actually got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to get behind. I've got a very heavy iron table, and I was down below this thing because I don't want to get hit by anything coming out of there. But from prior experience with Stubby Fan version 1, this one was my longest running one. It was my longest running fan, and it ran 6-8 months, maybe somewhere around there, before it finally gave in. And that was because I had run the 650 kV motor. Now you gotta remember, I'm doing this with off-the-shelf components. So prop motor, 650 kV, and I pushed it with this 48 volt ESC, because you can run 5 to 12S through it. And what I did was I noticed, okay, this is getting warm. The motor's getting warm. What's the next step? So what I did is I dropped the timing from 15 down to 11.5. And that opened up a whole bunch more torque on that motor, to the point where the RPMs I was losing from the 15-degree timing because of the heat, I was gaining back from the torque at 11.5 on the timing. And because of that, the fan spun so fast that it exploded. Of course, that was a PLA fan, not a PETG fan. And one of the things that I've been working on, especially with the main high-pass fan, is I made it modular. Day before yesterday, I went ahead and modeled it out and made it modular so that I could have these either CNC or 3D printed out of, I was going to do the hub in stainless and then 70-75 for the blades. That would give me the opportunity not only to have it printed or have it CNC'd, but it also gives me the opportunity to dynamically balance the hub on my magnetic balancer and to weigh each individual blade to make sure that I find the lightest one and then match the rest to it after it comes off the CNC or the 3D printer or wherever it comes from. So that's what I'm going to end up doing, because while I trust the PETG fan because it's been really good, I don't want to trust it with my life. So, and I know that doesn't make much logical sense, because you're like, what's more dangerous, flying plastic or flying 70-75? That's sharp on the ends and going 30,000 RPMs. 1,000 RPMs a second. 1,000 RPMs a second. That's a lot. So one of the main changes I did was you print this. This is going to be printed in full infill. This is actually the shaft that rides on the main bearing that's attached to the fan. This is done out of TPU from the AMS, so it's way more rigid at a solid infill, and that'll be a dampener in a sense to keep it from any small vibrations will be soaked up by this, which will help in the overall performance of the fan when it is driven from the rear. Giggity. So what we're looking forward to at this point is be watching for a short or be watching for a upcoming live event. I'll try and get it out as far ahead as possible so everyone can make time for it. Is there a time of day which is good for everybody, or does it matter? I mean, mention it in the comments. Just tell me, like, is it, we're talking, and give me the time in Pacific Standard Time. That's good for you, because I don't do anything else, so. I have 4 minutes left, at least. I don't know what that means. Okay, we're all here. Good. Watch time. Oh. Well, it is going to fly. And that's the whole idea behind the CNC that you see behind it. Because I took an MP CNC. This is going to fly too. It's got a 90 millimeter EDF in it. A skid on the rear. I say things just out of the blue that sounds so weird. It's got some buoyancy areas here so it can land in the water. It's got TPU tires, fins to guide it in the water, of course. Obviously, it has upper intakes as well as front intakes and as well as water treading intakes because DC can run in the water. So I'm not really too concerned. I'm not going to be pulling in that much water because it's going to be buoyant enough. I'm going to be putting tanks on the end of this, like these sort of fictitious tanks made out of the TPU to make them more buoyant. So when I'm doing any yawing in the water, there's going to be a fin here so that I have more yaw authority in the water. Well, once I punch it, basically the bottom end is going to pull down into the water, which will allow the front intake to pull in air if it's waterlocked at the front. So the top intake will pull in air, pull it out of the water, and I can take off. So yeah, it sounds crazy, but, and this isn't going to be here. This is just for testing because I'm still waiting for a 120 amp ESC to come for that 90 millimeter. And I don't trust the Avians. Not anymore. Not after the last one exploded. But this is, let me try and move this here really quickly. Sorry for the noise. This here is the MPCNC that I basically 3D printed. And it was supposed to be a lot smaller if you know MPCNC. And we decided to make it bigger. We went with a lot thicker steel for the bars. And we went with long, obviously, the entire thing's longer. The idea is that this here can cut the, I forget the name of that pink foam board type of stuff that they use for the molds. And that's going to be what we use to basically make the molds for the fiberglass body that I'm going to do. Because I've never done fiberglass vacuum sealing or any of that. This is all new to me. This is the cowling for Stubby Van version 1. Still in pretty good shape. Not all busted up. I was able to come apart really easy. But you can see the legs on that. So you can tell that this one's designed for a drone, that cowling, or that ductwork. But anyway, back to this. Each one of the body parts, I didn't want to have to print small plates in mold form and then have a 3D print that I have to sand and do all this other stuff too. I am going to have to do prep work on the board that I cut for the body pieces, but the bright side on that one is I can get a lot bigger body pieces out of the deal and then get everything put together, sanded down. And I had originally chosen the SR72 Dark Star to run these two in, or two of these in, and then I wanted to do an F-35 or a Harrier for a single engine version. And then, of course, there'll be 4 of them for the heavy lift drone. So tomorrow, by the way, we will be flying this again. I took the landing gear off because, let's face it, how often do I use it, right? You guys have seen me fly it in the past. And you notice I've got 3D printed props here. So, usually planes to this scale, I can't do the small ones. Give me a 2100 millimeter, I'm fine. You give me these little tiny ones, and it's like they're real finicky in the air. But I also replaced the control unit in this. This is from FMS, but I also replaced the Reflex 2 that came in it with a Speedy Bee F405 wing. So I could, do loiter mode and all that other stuff. But, yeah, that's where we're at. So, any questions? Anything you want to see built? Like, what plane would you want to see flown with this engine? Or more than one of these engines? My background? I don't know what you mean. This up here? Is that what you're talking about? The background? It's just my workbench, my logo I printed out, just some sound tiles, a little bit of Arduino, just for fun. But yeah. Is that what you're referring to? Or are you talking about... You're talking about my career. Wow. My head is stuck in the art. And I was thinking that because I dabbled in some painting. So I was like, my head is still on the shop refit. So when you go, what's your background? I'm like, white paint and drywall. No, my background is engineering. And, just experimental propulsion, things like that. So the idea is you're seeing what I have available for the public to see. You are not seeing what's in the warehouse, and not yet anyway. I gave you a glimpse a little while ago what was in the warehouse because it was not safe. So it's not something I really want to promote right now. And I honestly don't want any 3-letter agencies coming by and being like, hey, we want fusion. Not that I have successfully created it, sustained, but we'll get into that later. I'm working on ionic drives, things like that, just to throw it out there. More of an electronic propulsion. Everyone's trying to go do their anti-gravity thing, and you see this grab a fire thing on YouTube. I'm like, well, anyone can take a couple of plates and arc them together and act like they're going to fly. What you need is magnetic convergence combating with electrostatics using a diamagnetic core. Anyway, I could go on for days, but the point is, yeah. And, I don't know if anybody plays Star Citizen or tries to, because most of the time, it doesn't work. But yeah, I am going to do a drone out of this thing. So, this one kind of got tore up from being outside, but I'm just using it as possibly a mold. This is the Cuddy Black. Anybody from Star Citizen knows that one, right? I'm going to use 2 of these because they're relatively short if you're running them from the top, to basically sit inside here, one here, and that'll be sort of a weight mitigation so that the EDFs that I have here and here, and on the rear can push it. Because the rotating nacelles, just like in the game itself where you have a VTOL mode, it's going to be a functioning VTOL mode on the aircraft. I actually brought these in to Fusion and took them apart so that I could fit 2 of the turbojets I have sitting up there. We'll be running those too pretty soon. But right now we're working on this one. And this is one of the other major products. So you'll have 2 large fans for weight mitigation that will run independently. And on the, because the TX16S has extra rotational switches on the side. And then once I have that going, then I can turn on, these will be in VTOL mode, so they'll be sitting up. And then these 2 EDFs or props or whatever I decide to put in there will be the other 2 parts of that. And then what's going to end up happening is, as these rotate forward, we're still getting that mitigation of the weight from the back, because the back one will speed up, the front one will slow it down, because these 2 here will be yaw and pitch control. Plus these articulate. I know it sounds like a big project, but I mean, it's what I want to do. Who doesn't want to see a Cutty Black the size of a motorcycle flying around? You know? I mean, come on. Anybody who played Star Citizen doesn't want to see that one. Chosen one. You can make things invisible? Tell me how. Oh, Daryl, where can you see these things fly? When I do fly them, they're going to be, there's a field that I go to down the way, and it's just surrounded by almond orchards. So, being here, you know, physically, I don't know where you live, so, but you'll be able to see it on the channel. I'm not going to fly anything without recording it for you guys, because that's the whole point. The whole point for this. I do this, yeah, I might be able to make it to Colorado on a couple battery packs. Yeah, we need to go to PXD's area, because he's got plenty of room for me to fly around and crash in. Actually, he's my flight test subject. He's offered up his immortal soul to test the first few engines on an ultralight. So we're going to be running those and see what happens on his ultralight. And we're going to see, since we have 55 pounds of thrust, we're going to probably run, what was it, 4? We're doing 4, right? Or you want 4. And then that'll give you 220 pounds of extra thrust. So as long as we're within the weight ratio for flight, I think, because I think you were cleared up to, what was the weight you were cleared up to? Because we're going to end up, these are about 7 pounds a piece with batteries. So you figure, you know, 14 on each wing, 28 total. It's only 30 extra pounds for 220 pounds of thrust. That's not bad. That's a heck of a trade-off. That's for sure. I do have a scale behind this engine, and it is held down with metal rods and chains. There is a reason for that. It's like hot glued down here, strapped down, chained down, so that when it pulls, I can check the weight on the scale, which is, it's a very professional fish scale. So don't make fun of the fish scale, okay? It has never weighed any fish because I suck at fishing. But the point is, well, traditional fishing. Dynamite fishing I'm okay at, but the scale gives me sort of a, I'm trying to put together a load sensor that I can put on this rig but it gives me sort of a rough estimate of what I'm going to be pushing. So realistically, time frame wise, at least another week, I would say, before the Metal Gears get here. Then I'll give you guys a few days. I'll give you some warning that there's going to be another coming live, because this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a milestone spin up, because this thing's either going to destroy the Sun Gear, which I don't see it doing out of the aluminum, since the Nylon 6 made it to half throttle, or the fan is not going to be able to withstand the stress of 32,000 RPMs, and it's going to explode. Either way, get some popcorn, because it's going to be fun. And I will not be running it. You know, I say this every time. I don't want to run it from in here, because I'll put a cam up on on the other wall this way. I'll put a cam up and I'll run it from my computer. And I usually bring my microphone. I have the Rode NT1 mic that I bring in, so that I can kind of capture the full sound of the system as it goes. And so I usually record from inside, but then I end up finding myself sitting behind the camera here, behind the table, hiding, waiting for that sound. I'm not even watching it. I'm just like spinning it up, and I'm waiting for that familiar sound of boom, which I was not prepared for with Stubby V1, because I had it sitting right here. I had my hand on it. I throttled up after changing the timing, and it was doing great. And then all of a sudden, boom! Blades went everywhere. It blew out the side of the casing. I was surprised I did not get injured at all. Okay, so that answers your question about Jesus right there, if anyone was talking about it earlier. I'm telling you, my guardian angels, they got to tap out. Sometimes they need a break. I probably got more. They probably assigned more to me. They're like, he's at it again. Send in a legion. Oh yeah, the AI CAD says, how's it going so far? Still don't have a automatic clutch for this thing. What are you doing? Sitting on your thumbs? I'm just kidding. I'm playing with you. I know you're working hard. So, oh yeah, PXD. I forgot to tell you, I got a Mind Lab. I think it's an Equinox 11 or EQX 11 metal detector. We got to bring up to your property and see if we can find Jimmy Hoffa. I mean, gold. So, I was kind of hoping everyone was, I hope everyone enjoyed this. I really do. Hold on, let's see. It's been in a spacecraft. Hydrogen. My man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm eventually gonna run this system off of hydrogen fuel cells, hydrogen fuel stacks, I should say. Really, because the idea is, I wanted to see what it would take to basically electrolyze enough hydrogen on demand to provide 48 volts at a peak amps of about 500. Is about what I'm looking for. Because if you go to my playlists and you look at the Shrike drone compilation, you can kind of see where I started off with that triangular beast that's sitting up there on the wall. And then I had to go back to the drawing board and do a regular kind of 4x quad, in a sense, where everything was placed evenly apart. And I used 70 millimeter EDFs, and everyone was like mocking me. They were like, that's never going to work. What's the practical purpose in this? And I said, if you can read, it says concept drone. Shrike, concept drone. from a channel called Drone Power Concepts. So after I'd explained that, he got really kind of like mad at me for it, and told me my engineering was atrocious and everything else. I don't know. What do you guys think of my engineering? Is it okay? Or does it look like I smoke weed? It's just a tobacco pipe today, so don't worry. Centrifuge built in. Centrifuge built in. The centrifuge is for what? The pen? What pen? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, the chat's coming through slow for me, so I'm like trying to catch up. Explain yourselves. Come on, work. Yeah, it is. It is tobacco. It's tobacco, for sure. Mainly because most people hate me for it, but I'm kind of a lightweight when it comes to cannabis. I can take the size of a thumbnail, maybe, and then I'm done for like the day. So I can get one of the little bags at one of the dispensaries here where I live, and it's like it lasts like a whole month, and then when they see me over there, they're like, "Why haven't you been back? You know, we haven't seen you in like a month." I'm like, "I just ran out." They're like, "You gotta be kidding me." And they're like, you know everyone's gonna hate you for that, right? Because it only takes very little, and I'm done. I'm good. So, oxygen from the electrolysis, I'm not sure how that it works. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you can get oxygen from the electrolysis. It does work that way. It actually comes off the anode, and the cathode is the actual hydrogen, which you can separate both of them through electrolysis if you pipe them out right, and then you can compress them. So my idea was on-demand electrolysis, separate the two, compress them into 3-stage tanks. So one for the electrolysis itself to pull it into the first tank. The second tank is for compression down to liquid, and then the third tank is the actual fuel set for the engine, so that I could actually push it through the cell for electricity, and you can produce breathable oxygen. So we all know where we're going with this, right? Daryl, I would love to see that. That would be so cool. I'm visualizing what you're talking about. And you see, you're on the same page as me. You're like, compress it. Use it. Use the oxygen for what you need it for. Use the hydrogen for what you need it for. Because that turbojet over there is going to be using hydrogen. It's not just going to be electric driven. It's going to have a short afterburner at the end of it, so that I can make it look as realistic as humanly possible. I'm even going to put the Cuddy Black's landing gear in with a lead screw on each one of the feet, so it's authentic. You know, I want it to look good as well as fly good. And if you look at the Shrike drone compilation, I mean, that took me a while to get those EDFs, because you're talking about 70 millimeter EDFs. I think I got a 64 laying around here somewhere. Yeah, this is what I first started with. Well, the KV was too high, and I used a standard SpeedyB F405, but it kept blowing the capacitor. So what I did is I moved to an AP or an ADP, which is advanced APD, advanced power drives. They had a 500X that gave me 500 amp current limit. So I was able to run all 4 of the EDFs on the Shrike without it overheating. And I was powering it with a 6,000 milliamp 22.2 volt pack. A graphene pack, actually. Very good battery. And there's going to be 2 of these basically put together in, not in series, but in parallel, to get my, I may have said that wrong, but to get my 48 volts like I did with the 2200s here that are 70C. But there'll be 2 of these per engine inside the main drone. So there'll be basically 8 of these battery packs. But I've noticed the F405 wing is really good for experimentation because it's kind of, and I think the MyTech is probably pretty good too, but I've not tried that one yet. And it's mainly because I'm kind of still getting used to iNav and mastering that. And that for me is a challenge to the point where, like, if everyone's like, use Ardu Pilot, I'm like, oh yeah, give me something else to try and learn off the cuff. The whole vehicle ends up being a sphere. I like this idea. I do. That's a very good idea. Maybe we can collab, and you can get yourself some engines if you need it for some thrust. Because what I planned on doing on the Shrike XL version with those engines is I planned on making the attachment points gimbal. They have gimbals, so you have a gimbal at the actual model base, a gimbal at the knee joint, and then the foot joint, and this is the foot right here. So you have those 2 gimbaling points. And one of the crazy things I wanted to do with this was basically make it so where I could walk this thing and then have it jump up in the air and spin up its motors as it's spinning up its motors, and then go into a hover. Then it pulls and locks its legs into place. A lot of engineering involved in that one, but the first main test is going to be the engines in a static position on a standard quad type of design, and then we're going to go with that. Because let's face it, that's a big engine. So spinning up 4 of those is going to be epic at the field, I'm telling you. And then flying that thing. And now that I have the experience with the 70 millimeter Shrike as far as how the EDFs respond to the F405 wing from SpeedEV, now that I have that information, now that I understand the gyro cutoff frequencies, the Q factors, the unicorn factor, which was all just native to, it wasn't, I mean, it was all not native to me. It was all very new to me as far as drones go, because when my first drone was like a 350 QX from Blade, and that was a long time ago. Before that, it was all fixed wing pilot, Super Sky Surfer, P51, but it was a balsa wood model. It was huge, 4-engine. Was it 4? Yeah, it was a B-17 I did. And I had a DC-3, all with 8-foot wingspans. They were huge planes, and they were so much fun to do. I love doing the balsa. But, I've got so many projects in my head. It's like, I've got to do it one at a time. Hey, we're doing the rubber plane. We got the rubber plane, right? This is all TPU. This is all TPU. And it's going to be all organic flow. All of it. And I know everyone's like, that's crazy, but it's going to work. I know it's going to work because I said it's going to work. And I have all the wing pieces for it. Like, here's an example of one of the wing pieces out of the AMS TPU. So you get that organic flow in the ailerons, and that's kind of what I'm going for. And the wing will take a 4 millimeter spar. It is roughly 1,000 millimeters. So it's going to self-dihedral as well. So that'll give me a unique glider to kind of play with. And it's actually going to be powered by a 14.8 volt. One of these, no, wait, where is it? It's actually this one. It's an 850 volt 850 milliamp ADC 14.8. That's what I designed to fit in there. And that's going to be a fun project. Everything's printed for it. I'm just waiting for some small servos and some line. Because what I'm going to do to make sure the CG is right on this one is I'm going to saddle the servos for the rudder and the elevator here, because I have designed it for this battery so that it fits right in there. And it'll actually go the other way because the ESC is going to be down in here. And then the wing sits here. And then I have my prop and motor already picked out. I have a folding prop and a motor that I'm going to put on the front. That's like the dumbest statement, because it's like of course you're going to put the motor on the front. I have a motor I'm going to put on the front of the aircraft. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, the point is, this is all TPU. So, but it's rigid enough in flight to where I believe it's going to be very effective. It's a little bit heavier than the original plane was intended, because they were like printing it with, I think it was an expanding foam, sort of like a PLA Aero or a LW PLA, like you would see from 3D lab print planes, things like that. And I had to make some modifications. This is solid infill, not the tube itself, but the walls are solid infill for the TPU. So it's not much heavier, but it's still rigid enough to where it can handle flight. And I can't wait to see that wing kind of self-level, self-dihedral at the tips. And then that organic flow for the rudder and the ailerons. That's what I'm going for. And yeah, it's a little bit weird. Why would somebody do that? But then why not? I mean, you look at that, and then you have no more questions about what I'm doing. Are you talking about I'm sorry, Bad Karma 714, you said you 3D print this. Are you talking about the fan or the plane? The black stuff on the wall is, sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. The black stuff on the wall are sound tiles. The plane was printed, yeah. It was printed with TPU designed for the AMS on the Bamboo X1 carbon. You can't run standard TPU through the AMS. You have to use the spool holder on the back of the X1, but then that means you've got to disconnect the AMS. I like using the AMS, so I got the TPU that was designed for it, and discovered that it was so much more rigid that it would be great for doing a wing, and we're talking single wall print. I'll show you at the risk of breaking it. This is single wall print, so you can see. It's just like how you would print with lightweight PLA, but the layer bonding on this is so unbelievably strong. It's incredible. So after you put the carbon fiber spar down the wing, you could wreck this thing, and chances are it's going to survive. I mean, you can't pull this apart, and it makes a really, really nice impenetrable skin at the tip. So TPU designed for the AMS is a whole new beast that has given me tons more ideas. Like I need it anymore, right? So this is where we stand. Let's see. What's the fan in the background? Oh, what? Wait, hold on. What's the fan in the back porch? I just joined. Oh, you're talking about this here? This is Stubby Fan V4. I just ran this and killed the planetary gears that were in it because I was bored. I had plenty of planetary gears laying around, so I decided to go ahead and run it for some more testing. It's a 4-to-1 step-up gear ratio. And I have metal gears coming from this that were printed in metal, aluminum. So that'll be our next test on that. For those who are just showing up, that's what we're going to be doing when those gears arrive. They're in the air on the plane. So we're just waiting for arrival on those. And then I won't burn up any more gears. I know it looks like it's grabbing right now, but that's because the tolerances are so tight that even though the teeth are gone on the sun gear, it still wants to grab that fan and turn it, but not under any torque. See, I can stop it. So once the metal gears get here, it's a different story. And then once I verify how they run, everything will be switched to behind the fan, because this is easier for testing. Then the ductwork, of course, will be closed off here. We won't need anything up here. I thought about putting some kind of grate or something over this so I don't suck anything into it. But, you know, why not live dangerously? Yeah, basically. Oh, I swear I can hear people across the street. If there are more people breaking into that building, I am using flashbangs again. I'm telling you, every time and you may have seen, there's a video out called Idiots in Training, and that was people who went into my building and they were trying to steal stuff. They stole my floor jack, but I didn't really care too much about that because on their way out, I lit them up. So, yeah. So the idea was, when it comes to that building, yeah, take us with you. Next time I go over there, I don't have any signal alerts. I'm just hearing them sometimes I'll hear them on the property. And if they try to break in, then I just break out Mr. Happy and, you know, take care of business. So yeah, I can get flashbangs tonight. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure. If the alarm goes off, yes. If the alarm goes off, I'll run over there and go live and flashbang everybody. So, it's a possibility, yes. I want to read the comments because I don't want to miss anybody's comments. I want to be able to answer questions if you guys have them. So if I have missed them, please, by all means, ask me again. The background sounds you are hearing are my children taking advantage of my computer while I'm out here in the shop. Oh my goodness. This has been an adventure, I'll tell you that much. Do I have I wonder if I have I was looking for the blades. Yeah. Those are all the blades I got hit with out of the other one. They didn't hurt me though. So I guess I got lucky. But this interior fan casing right here is kind of what saved me, because on the first version I had my hand sitting right here, and it was a direct drive 600 kV, like I'd explained before. And once I spun it up, everything was cool, and I was holding it down because I already had this engine sitting on the rig. So I moved the rig back, and I just hooked it up and then set it on the table, and I was holding it down, which wasn't smart. But if you've seen any of my previous videos, I don't do a lot of smart stuff with these fans, including I was holding one and blowing the flag around with it. I even cleared the grass off my driveway with one of these. So they're versatile. Yeah, it's been fun, guys. All right, I know it's probably late for some of you. and maybe it's even early for others. But we're gonna wrap it up right there. And like I said before, I am going to make sure that you have a short, or I'm going to make sure that I put the or I'm going to set up the live so that you are notified of it. So if you are not subscribed, please do so. It helps me out. It helps out. I don't want to sound cheesy and say it helps out the algorithm, this, that, and the other. It's like, just like, you want to subscribe, subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to see this thing spin up. If you want to see it possibly explode and watch some carnage, then hit the bell. Subscribe. If you want to see it fly and do some really awesome stuff, subscribe and hit the bell. It's pretty simple. It's easy. It costs you nothing. Not yet, anyway. And then, eventually you guys will be able to get to, the shop when I get the site up, because I'll be selling these eventually once they are perfected. Once they're perfected, once I know they're safe, and man, you all are going to have to sign a waiver. It's like, I'm going to buy this. Okay, fine, sign right here. I'm not liable for anything you might do, or any bird strikes. So don't fly in the house. But it's the support I have received from all of you has been invaluable, and I'm personally trying to save up for more equipment, because I do need more equipment. I need more ESCs. I need more engines. I need to order more metal parts. There's a lot of stuff I do need to get for the larger project, because eventually I'm going to make these will be printed about 3 times the size. And then I'm making a quad that I can kind of ride to the store. So you can ride it close to surface level or go up if you like. I'm sure let's see the sheriff pull me over in that. Huh? All right. With my luck, it'd be F-22s coming in. They'd be like, we don't know what this is. I'm going to be dodging sidewinders. But if you want to support this effort, I do have a link for Patreon. I do have a link for Buy Me a Coffee, which makes it really easy for me to pick up stuff I need when I don't have it. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm on vet benefits, so I don't have a lot. But I'm doing all this because I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm done, this is cool, it's ready to go, and not give it to the public. As far as this goes, you want one of these for your RC plane? You want to build a plane around it? I'm going to give you the files. I'm going to give you the specs, the components, that kind of thing. It's all about building a community with this. It's all about us all coming together and doing something positive, rather than all the negativity that we see in the media and in the news today. It's just, let's forget all that and go fly 3D printed stuff until we can't stand it anymore. What do you think? Get a little freedom up in you. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, that's what's going to happen. And with that, I want to wish you all a wonderful evening. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Love you all. Love the support. Love the encouragement. And I'm still reading the flashbang tonight thing. Maybe one day, PXD. We'll get there. So yeah. And Daryl, I like your ideas, man. I like your ideas. You've inspired me as well. And this is what this is all about. So everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Buck, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Like always, we appreciate you. And I will see you all for the next live event where we spin this fan up with metal gears and cross our fingers. And hopefully I'll still have them afterwards. So, love you all. Good night.